Hello all. Today we will discuss about programming domains, that is different applications of this programming languages. And we know the computers have been applied to a very different areas. For example, from controlling nuclear power plants to providing video games in our mobile phones. Because of this great diversity in computer use, we have different programming languages with very different goals have been developed. So we'll see some of these um, applications, that is areas of computer applications and their associated languages also. So the first application is for scientific purposes. Okay, so scientific applications. The first digital computers which appeared in 1940s and in early 1950s were invented and used for scientific applications. Okay, so the scientific applications of that time used relatively simple data structures, but that required numbers of floating point arithmetic computations. Okay, the most common data structures were arrays and matrices. The most common control structures were counting loops and selections. Okay, so we have, which means our application is relatively simple. Okay, and the early high-level programming languages invented for scientific applications were designed to provide for those needs. And their competition was assembly language, so efficiency was a primary concern. The first language for scientific applications was Fortran. Okay, and we have many subsequent descendants of this Fortran arrows, but they are not significantly better than this Fortran, and that's why after this 1950s, so this was developed in 1950s, and during those time after that, and this Fortran is used for many scientific applications, and still this Fortran is used. Because no subsequent language is significantly better than Fortran. And we have Algol 60. That is another kind of language that is used for scientific applications, and Algol 60 has many descendants also, and they are used for scientific applications as well as they are designed to be used in related areas also. Okay, and we have the second application is for business purposes. So the use of computers for business applications began in 1950s. Okay, so special computers were developed for this purpose along with special languages. So we have special computers with special languages. The first successful high level language for business, as you know, that is COBOL, and the initial version of this COBOL was appeared in 1960. And this COBOL is still the most commonly used language for this business applications. And business languages are characterized by facilities for producing elaborate reports. Because in business applications, we need to generate this elaborate reports and precise ways of describing and sorting, storing decimal numbers, character data, and the ability to specify decimal arithmetic operations. All these are mainly comes under this business applications, and these languages were developed to support these applications. Okay, and we have few developments in business applications languages outside this development and evolution of this COBOL also. And the third application is for artificial intelligence, and we know this AI is a broad area of computer applications characterized by the use of symbolic rather than numeric computations. So symbolic computation means that symbols that consisting of names rather than numbers are manipulated. So we have names instead of numbers. So also symbolic computation is more conveniently done with linked lists of data rather than arrays. So we have linked list. So this kind of programming sometimes requires more flexibility than other programming domains. Okay, so for example, in some AI applications, the ability to create and execute code segments during execution is convenient. So we need to have the ability to create and execute code segments during execution. Okay, so these languages were developed to support these applications also. So the first widely used programming language developed for AI applications was the functional languages, and the main functional language used during those times was Lisp. Okay, that is Lisp means list processing, and that is developed by McCarthy and et al. In 1965, and most AI applications prior to 1990s were written in Lisp or one of its close relatives. Lisp has many dialects like we have scheme language. Okay, so that is a dialect of Lisp. So prior to this 1960s we have, or 1990s we have only this Lisp and its close relatives. And during the early 1970s, however, an alternative approach to some of these applications appeared, and that alternative was with the help of logic programming languages, and we used the language Prolog there. Okay, and that is by Clarkson and Mellish, and Prolog is very efficient language for logic programming purposes. So recently, some AI applications. Important thing is that most recently we have the C language. Okay, that is used for developing this AI applications. Okay, so AI applications have been written in systems languages such as C. And we have next application is with systems programming. So what is meant by system software? So the operating system and the programming support tools of a computer system are collectively known as its system software. Okay, so system software is used almost continuously because when the system is up, the system's software will be running, and so it must be very efficient. Okay, and it must have low level features that allow the software interfaces to external devices to be written. So the system software is something that also interacts with the hardware, external devices to be written. So in 1960s and 70s, some computer manufacturers such as IBM, Digital and Burroughs, okay, now they are known as Unisys. They developed a special machine-oriented high-level language for system software on their machines. So three companies were there, and IBM mainframe computers. For IBM mainframe computers, the language was PL/S, that is a dialect of PL/I. And for digital, it was Bliss, a language at a level just above high level language, this Bliss. And for Burroughs, it was extended Algol, okay, extended Algol. And most system software is now written in more general programming languages such as C and C++. And we know this Unix operating system is written almost entirely in C language. Okay, and which was made it relatively easy to port. That is, it is easy to move to different machines. Some of the characteristics of C make it good choice for system programming also. It is low level, execution efficient, and does not burden the user with many safety restrictions. And the system programmers are often excellent programmers who believe they do not need such restrictions. Okay, so this C language does not burden the user with safety restrictions, and that's why it is used for nowadays used for developing system softwares. And some non-systems programmers um, find C to be too dangerous to use on large important software systems. Okay, and we have web software, that is the last programming domain. So the web software means the World Wide Web is supported by an electric collection of languages, and that is ranging from, we know, this markup languages such as HTML, and which is not a programming language, to general purpose programming languages such as Java. So we know this www is supported by collection of languages, and we have markup languages like HTML, and we have general purpose programming languages such as Java. And because of the pervasive need for dynamic web content, so the web content changes over time. So some computation capability is often included in the technology of content presentation, and this functionality can be provided by embedding programming code in an HTML document. That's what happens now. So we have HTML document and we have embedded programming code there, and such code is often in the form of a scripting language. So Java is used along with this scripting language, and such as some of the examples for this scripting languages are JavaScript or PHP. And there are also some markup languages that have been extended to include these constructs that control our document processing also. Okay, so these are the applications or programming domains